Ladies and gentlemen, the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society, proudly presents to you another exciting episode of 15 Minutes of Fandom. In this episode, we actually take one fan, and we mean one fan that actually stands out from the rest of the wrestling fans to have them on our show to talk about their love of professional wrestling, their experiences as a fan, and whatnot. So, with that being said, in the first corner, we have the greatest thing on God's green earth. No, we're not talking about money, Mary Jane, or Popeye spinach. He's a tranquil dart of Ringside Society, sharply dressed, and he is Delaware's greatest American hero. It takes two to make a thing go right. He's Rob Bass, and you are not. And the second corner, we have a special young lady right now. Her birthday was recently. She's smiling ear to ear in her nice little flannel shirt. I see you there. You know, everybody. Well, hold on. I'm skipping something. Oh, she is the monarch of Mardi Gras, the Baroness of Bourbon Street. When she's not co-hosting Ringside Society, she's on crazy misadventures, such as looking for the fabled Cobra Kai dojo, dressing up as one of the Road Warriors and picking fights with random people, and also making high demands for her birthday cake. Louisiana's own Kathy Knight. And the third corner, we have that ocean crossing, straight up Boston, flight catching, shot glass snatching, always on the go, catch him if you can. Said his name in Guyana, now they love him in Japan. No cap, the worldwide star boy, Remy Blue. And our special guest today for 15 Minutes of Fandom is a young woman who is actually a huge wrestling fan. She's even traveled to other states to watch wrestling. And I'm not just talking like WrestleMania, Survivor Series, SummerSlam. She's even traveled to other states to watch shows such as Raw. And she'll be at Those Wrestling Girls' 3rd anniversary celebration tonight at Legends Bar here in New York City. Everybody, welcome to the show, the Diva Incarnate Isa.
Woo! Hi, guys.
Hey, Isa, welcome to the show. We really and truly appreciate it. You know, I know we've been trying to get you on for a couple of months now. We
Yeah.
had some schedule clashes, but hey, as they say, if at first you don't succeed, try again. And we've succeeded this time because you're here. So thank you very much for giving us opportunity. Really, truly do appreciate it.
No, thank you guys for having me. I'm really excited to talk a little bit of wrestling with you guys. And happy birthday, Kathy.
Thank you.
Yeah, Kathy, happy birthday, man. Hey, even though, you cause us a lot of grief here and you make a lot of trouble and it costs us thousands of dollars in damage over here at Ringside Society with your crazy misadventures, you know what I'm saying? I'm still paying off for the last one where, you beat up that one woman that tried to practice voodoo, wasn't even harming you, but you just said, hey, you're going to go, you're going to just go ahead and, be a hero. Hey, it is what it is. But really and truly, happy birthday, you know, and I hope you definitely enjoyed it. And yeah, I definitely, do it up big, man. Go have some vignette, some Cafe Du Monde, all that good stuff. Watch some wrestling and all that. You've on a serious note, you've been a very great help, a very great assist, not just a great help, a very huge assistance to Ringside Society. Some of our, I'm gonna put you on the spot, but some of our biggest shows that we've had on here were because of Kathy, like Maddie Rinkowski, because of Kathy, Thunder Rosa, because of Kathy, Jasmine. Jasmine, I think that was mine, but yeah, a lot of stuff that has been. Oh, and I forgot the Attitude Era episode that I call the Attitude Era episode of our whole brand, the Soraya Knight interview, which is Paige's mom. That was Kathy. That was all Kathy. It wouldn't have been possible without her. And if even if you look back at our first set for our first ever season, our first season, which is available on Spotify, and you look at the first couple of episodes, it was Kathy that was running the helm. It was Kathy was the one that was in charge, calling the shots. I was the guy that was hiding behind the scenes and just saying, you're in charge. I mean, I'm just the guy that's running things behind the scenes. I mean, you're the one that makes the calls and whatnot. And the reason for that was I never said so was because I was in Japan at the time. Of course, as most of you know that listen to the show avidly, I was in the United States Navy at the time. I recently got out, and I was currently stationed. I was at that time stationed in Japan. I was on my last leg in Japan, and due to the time differential, which for those of you that know, Japan is a 13 to 14 hour time. They're 13 to 14 hours ahead of America. So by the time Ringside Society would have started on a Sunday, I would have been working. So she was the one that held the fort down for the first part of that season, and she's been a very great asset here as well. And Kathy, I got to say, I'm proud to have you on our show. And outside of that, I'm just proud to know you as a person because you are a genuinely happy, caring person. And don't ever let that change. Don't ever let anybody or anything dim your light. You are too good of a person to, to not have, for anyone not to have in their life. And I'm sorry if I'm stuttering people, but I'm not really that good of a public speaker. So, and hence the reason why Kathy's on our team, because the interviews, Kathy's one of the people that actually carries it. So I'm not that good of a public speaker. Yeah, I may be loud and funny and whatnot, but Kathy's the real, MVP. So I just have to wish. Yeah, there I go again. But I just have to say, happy birthday once again, Kathy, and may you live to see many more in happiness, great health, and also great wealth. Rob, you got anything to say, man?
I was just say happy birthday. Yeah, without Kathy, yeah, we wouldn't be here where we are today without her. And because of her, I'm the reason, I'm on here. Because if she didn't be like, if she wasn't like, yeah, we can have him join the team, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be able to be rapping or whatever. So thank you, Kathy, for that. Yeah, I owe everything to you and all that good stuff. So yes, happy birthday. Here's the 40 more, 50 more, whatever you need to do.
Y'all are gonna make me cry. It's too early for that.
It is before noon. Yeah, we gotta wait. We'll
I mean,
wait.
it is noon over here in New York. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
Issa,
not even noon yet here. It's like 11:22. But yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, and I'm trying to bring like Nelly's Band-Aid back. You see that right there? No, but if you watch the podcast over time, like I've had this like sore that hasn't gone away in like 5 years. So I got a biopsy yesterday. So we'll see what's going on with that. But yeah, that's what the Band-Aid's for. I am trying to bring Nelly back though. That was a good look for him, right?
It is hot in her.
Yeah. Right. Rob dressed up. I was like, where's the memo? Like I could have dressed up too.
yeah, I definitely didn't get that memo either. But
I
we
just
have
figured I'd
some.
do it big for Kathy. I'd do it big for Kathy.
I appreciate it,
I'm,
Rob. Thank
It's
you.
her birthday. Yeah, we gotta do that. I figured I'd do that.
I don't know if Issa,
I didn't have the
I don't know if
birthday hat. I didn't have that big cone birthday hat. Or I would have wore that.
Issa, I'm not trying to have you. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I don't know if Issa wants to say anything before I get into the birthday greetings because you got a couple here from a couple of our alumni guests. So I don't know if you want to, Issa, if you want to say anything or you know.
No, I just want to
Um,
wish her a happy birthday. Kathy knows I absolutely love her. She's one of the best, and I'm happy that she's getting all of this birthday love that she deserves. She's a great person, and I think everybody that has come across her on social media or in person knows that she's very special.
Thank you.
yeah. So we have a few birthday wishes here in the comments, and for those of you, if you want, like I said, we're always open to having y'all give your comments and whatnot. But if you have any birthday wishes you want to give Kathy, feel free to do so. We have a few here. So we have our good friend Alexandra Jean from Paris, who will be joining us tomorrow for our Survivor Series 2021 predictions. If She has there's a happy birthday wish for you there. She's happy birthday, Kathy.
Thank you, Alex.
And fun fact about Alex, Alex was our first ever international 15 minutes of fandom guest. Yes, back on Block Talk, we actually had her on. It's been a year now, but yeah. And then we have another guy here. I know you know this guy, Kathy. Timothy
26. He's
Flair.
too kind. Thanks, Tim, for making me younger.
Just wanted to pop in and wish my fellow Becky fan a happy 26th birthday. Rock, Kathy. Then there's John. I don't know who this person is, but they're wishing you a happy birthday. I never met them. You probably know them, or Rob, you probably know them. And then Alexandra gave you a birthday cake. And yeah, we have another guy here, Eric Douglas, who okay. So we already have a question here. Coming right out of the gate. So Isa, Eric Douglas is asking, how did you become a Roman fan?
Um, so when I got back into wrestling, I used to watch wrestling on and off, but I got back into it when I took my nephew to a show here in Barclays Center. It was actually the very first Monday Night Raw that they taped out of Barclays Center when it opened. And I hadn't watched an episode of Raw in years at that point. And I remember it was love at first sight. I remember sitting there seeing the Shield come through the crowd, and I was like, "Who is that?" And my nephew, sorry,
Wow, that's cool.
having
Yeah.
mic issues. Apologies. But my nephew rolled his eyes at me, and he was like, "It's Roman Reigns. All the girls think he's hot," and I'm like, "Because he is." And love at first sight. Ever since I was in 2014, and it's still going.
So I got a question. I'm not trying to play Mr. Instigator. So you're a Roman fan.
Of course, I
Have
am.
you ever heard of a guy by the name of Tamatanga?
Yes.
Awesome. Do you think, and granted, Roman and Tama, they're actually, sorry, somebody was actually, I guess somebody's playing Speed Racer out there, if you heard that. But but people have actually said that Roman and Tamatanga, they actually look alike, and they do have
I see a
similar
resemblance.
backgrounds.
There's a resemblance between the two of them. Yes.
Yeah, they do have similar backgrounds because I mean Roman is actually Samoan and Tama is actually Tongan, and they do have similar if you look at the cultures of both islands,
Hmm.
they do have similar cultures. Not the same, but they're quite similar. So yeah, I'm actually surprised like a lot of ladies aren't going after Tama as well because I guess because he's in New Japan and you know casual wrestling fans wouldn't really watch like New Japan like that. But
Exactly. Exactly. I
yeah,
think if he was to come to an American federation, he will have a bigger fan base than what he does now. I think he's very underrated, and people just don't know about him.
oh yeah, definitely. What I would love to see, but it wouldn't happen because due to their contractual obligations and Roman being in the E, I would love to see the Tongans, or I guess you call them God, Tamatanga, Tongaloa, and Bad Luck Fale, unite with the Bloodline. That would be
Yes.
awesome because that would be a strong Polynesian stable right there.
Agreed. I would definitely
And
have them feud first, then come together just to see the feud, and then see them unite. I think that would be fun.
yeah, but yeah, that would definitely be a crazy feud. But the thing is, oh man, could you imagine the promo? Like,
Yes.
let's just say if Vince were cool enough to like be like, you know what, you guys have at it, do whatever you want, say whatever you want. Could you imagine how that promo would be? Considering
Insane.
that God has no chill.
Yeah.
Like they say whatever they want, they cuss and whatever they're and oh man,
And while you say that, I would love to see what the bloodline would do, having a little more freedom on the mic. I know that they get to say Roman gets away with whatever he wants, but he's not no filter Roman Reigns. Imagine if they had the freedom of saying whatever they want. Roman will probably bury everybody on the mic right now.
Oh yeah, and put in Solo. I think it's Solo Sokoa is his name.
Yes.
Well, I know people know him as Solo Sokoa. I know him as Sefa Fatu because I talked to him before online, and I tried to get him on the show, but unfortunately, once again, our schedules clashed, so couldn't make that happen. But we're very happy for him making the WWE. Hope to see him soon on the main event with his brothers and his cousin and whatnot. So I'm gonna take we're gonna take a time traveling trip back, and my a question I always ask like 99% of our guests: what was the pay-per-view or the event, or who was that relative that dragged you into the room and said, "Hey, check this out. You got to see this." How did your fandom for wrestling start?
I watched wrestling on and off back when I lived in Puerto Rico, but the kind of wrestling that I grew up watching is obviously not the same kind of wrestling everybody grew up watching. I'm talking Capital Sports Promotion with Carlitos Colon and Abdullah the Butcher, like cutting each other open. So when people wonder why I'm into the more violent matches, it's probably because that's what I grew up on. But it was a little bit of an on and off. I grew up in Puerto Rico. We didn't even have cable until later on, right? Wrestling was huge by the time we got cable. But I will say it was in 2014 after I took my nephew to that event that I mentioned earlier. I didn't really start watching again, and then I remember going down to Charlotte to visit him, and we were talking about that night, and he said, well, have you followed up with the stories? And I was like, no. And he did an excellent job at selling me the network because he was like, it's only $9.99 and you can catch up on all the years that you missed. And I'll never forget that conversation. We were at the hotel and I was like, fine, I'll get it. And we started watching all Rumbles, all WrestleMania that I haven't watched. And he was trying to catch me up with all the storylines. And that was the moment. After that, I think the very first pay per view that I got on the WWE network, my free pay per view for my free month, was the TLC where Sting showed up. And from there, I have watched every week, nonstop.
Wow, that's cool. That's pretty awesome, and that's great that he sold you on that on the WWE network
I thought he was
because you
going to
say
be on sales after that day, but no, he's a Marine.
ah awesome. So so you started watching in 2014. So you started rewatching in 2014 because you were a fan
Right.
before.
Hmm.
So you actually, let's see, when did you stop watching?
So I'm going to be honest, I stopped watching probably around 2000 because that's when I graduated high school and then I started going to college and then I left Puerto Rico. And unfortunately, real life is more important. I was dealing with a lot, like coming to a new country, learning a new language. I don't have time for wrestling. So between 2000 and 2014, I will watch the big events or when I have my nephews. It's always been a very bonding thing for me and my nephews, which is funny because now they're old and they don't watch it because it's not cool anymore, right? But they're the ones who brought me into it. So when I was with them, I would watch whatever pay per view was going on at the time. But it was between 2000 and 2014. I was the definition of a casual viewer.
Wow, cool. So wait, you graduated in 2000? You mean you graduated in 2000 in 2000 like 10 or 2020?
No. 2000, I graduated high school. I'm an old lady.
Class of 2000. Me
What?
too, class 2000. Let's go.
I'm
I thought
99, so there you go.
I'm 2001. I'm 2001, but with my beard and everything, if I stand next to Kathy and Rob, they'll think that I'm their cool black uncle and so on. So yeah. Um wow, I honestly when I first saw you, I thought you were like at least like 24,
If you're saying
23.
my new best friend, it is working.
And I don't mean no offense. I thought you were like, I mean, I was like, when I first saw, I was like, she got to be at least 23, maybe 24 or something like that. And the reason why I said I would go younger, I was like, she got to be because I mean, she's going to Legends, and we all know Legends is 21 and up, and New York don't really play that. Yeah, you're with your parents, but you can come in. But I was like, I was thoroughly, I was thoroughly, I was like, I'm thoroughly impressed. Wow, that's crazy.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
But I'm an old lady.
but nah, you're not. So I'm Guyanese. You're Puerto Rican. So you
Yes.
know that we are all from the West Indies. So we're we island people. We don't some
Yeah,
of
we
us, well, most of us,
good genes,
you
good genes.
know,
We age gracefully.
yeah. But so 2000, so you let's see, 2000 you're a casual viewer, 2014 casual viewer. Okay, so you
I watched
unfortunately missed it.
WrestleManias, I watched Rumbles, but it wasn't like I wasn't into it. I wasn't a big fan of the John Cena era, which is sad because that's my nephew's biggest. He's the biggest John Cena fan, so we always go back and forth on that. When he got me to start watching wrestling again, our argument was that I started falling in love with every character that he hated and hated everybody that he loved. So we have this like feud going now. Now that he's older, now when I'm talking to you, my nephew was a teenager, like 14. Now he's 20 something years old and a grown man. Now he likes those people that I hated, and I'm like, see, I told you that I was gonna be a good influence. Now he loves Seth Rollins, he loves Brock Lesnar, he loves Roman. But back then, he hated that I loved Seth Rollins with passion. It was hilarious.
Wow, but that's good that even though you that although you actually stopped watching all those that not stopped watching, but you were an avid watcher all those years, that you still kept up with the WrestleManias and the Royal Rumbles and so on. So you didn't really miss. So you knew about DX returning. You knew
Yes.
about John Cena, the rise of John Cena
Yes.
from from pretty much ruthless aggression to basic thugonomics to whatever what was a chain gang or whatever he was calling himself, C Nation or whatever.
Yes.
You know, you knew about what else? The Shield. Well, the Shield came out in
I mean, of
2012.
course I know about the Shield. That's what brought me back. That's what brought me
Yeah,
back.
and Nexus
Oh
and
God.
the rise of CM Punk and Jeff Hardy and all. That's cool that you still kept up.
Yeah, I did. And of course, when things will happen, like the pipe bomb, for example, my nephew would absolutely message me and I would watch it, even if I wasn't into the product. When something big happened, he always sent it to me. So I would find a way out of my way to watch it. And yeah, the rise of CM Punk was, in my opinion, epic.
Cool. Yeah, that. And you know what's funny about that? I wasn't really a CM Punk fan at that. I mean, I'm still not, but I respect what he's done. I wouldn't turn off a match that he's wrestling. That I wouldn't like turn away from a match he's wrestling. But when I saw him, I was like, okay, he has great potential. Whatnot. This was like back in 2006, and then later on, 2009, he actually cashed in his Money in the Bank on Jeff Hardy, who was one of my favorite wrestlers. And I'm like, man, I hate this guy CM Punk. You know what? It's whatever. You'll never be as big as Jeff Hardy. Just go somewhere with yourself and whatnot. Why? Jeff Hardy was on a rise. Why you got to come and kill his vibe? And I guess he heard me because lo and behold, 2 years later,
Yeah.
Homeboy becomes the hottest thing since sliced bread. And then even when he left in 2014, for all those years until 2019 when he came back to do WWE backstage, people were chanting his name, CM Punk. I'm like, well, damn, you showed me. Jeez.
It's funny that you bring that up because I remember seeing the clips, and of course, when I start watching again, he's gone. I watched him do the feud with Brock Lesnar, but I go back in the WWE network and watch all of CM Punk's like rise and things that I missed when I wasn't watching, and I personally always felt like shit, I missed out on this, right? Sorry, I don't know if you can curse on here, but I said I missed out on this. So him coming back felt like a big deal for me because I was like, I got robbed. I didn't get to enjoy a CM Punk like run as a wrestling fan because I was in and out at that time. Now I get to watch him again, and I gotta tell you, I've seen him. I've been very blessed to see him already a lot of times since his return to AEW. And when the music hits, it still feels fake. Like I still feel like this is not really happening. Is CM Punk really out here coming out? And it is. It's not gonna get old for a while, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. So Finn Abs is asking. He said, "Ask you about Brock.
Yes, Brock
Is
is
is is it, is it something?
Brock is my favorite, and that seems to be a controversial thing. Like Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar are my two favorites of all time, and that seems to be a unpopular opinion. I guess I don't understand why. I think Brock Lesnar is a very gifted athlete. I think he's a once in a lifetime kind of performer, and I think that he will be more appreciated when he's not doing it anymore. I think people just take him for granted.
Hey, you like who you like, man. I mean, I'm sure there's people that go there that used to go to WWE, that were big Santino Morella fans. I'm sure
I mean, there's nothing
there are
wrong with
people that,
liking the best, and he is the best. So, you know.
yeah, I'm sure there's people that go there and they're huge Sami Zayn fans. So I mean, you like who you like. So Eric Douglas is asking us, what did we think about the Bloodline getting beat up last night? Hey, you play those get my what my personal opinion. You play those games, you win those prizes. Roman's not the only one with family. The New Day are like family. So I thought it was good. He thought he was gonna beat up on Xavier Woods again. What little did he know was that Big E was waiting for him, trying to get him back before he did to Kofi, and they did the whole hood stomp on him. Like I don't know if y'all
Yes, they did.
for those of y'all that lived in the hood. I lived in the hood in Florida for like years, and I've seen that was a beat down he got, like when they were like stomping on him, man. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that was something. But
I mean, they
I
done this
mean,
before with the bloodline. Like I remember Daniel Bryan took them down, Edge took them down. The bloodline doesn't always get the upper hand in every feud they've been in. That's how you build it. And the New Day versus the bloodline is money. I almost wish they were doing that instead of the champion versus champion. I think the three of them against the three of them is a money match if you let them just go.
yeah, I'm sorry though, but the difference between New Day and Bloodline is that all New Day members are great singles wrestlers. The Usos would obviously be the more superior team to the New Day because they're brothers and they're twin brothers and they've been doing this for a while. Like they were doing it, they were a tag team in 4 years before the New Day formed. But put Jey Uso in a solos in a singles match. Put Jimmy Uso in a singles match. They wouldn't do so well. Would I
I mean,
like
they
to see
would. I
them
think
become
Jay
singles?
would. I don't think that Jimmy got the opportunity. Jay had an excellent singles feud with Roman.
Yeah, Jay would do good against Xavier Woods because Xavier Woods is the lesser successful out of the three. But against a Kofi or Biggie, I'm
I,
sorry.
I feel the
Don't get
yeah,
me
I feel
wrong.
the opposite. I feel Jimmy will be the one that, and it's because we never really got to see him as a singles. We saw what Jay could do by himself when Jimmy was injured. When Jimmy came back, they just put him right back with Jay. They didn't give him a chance as a single, so we wouldn't really know. But I know I don't ever want the Usos to break up. I know people were rooting for that when Jimmy came back, and I'm like, no, they are the best tag team in WWE.
So
Why would anybody break them up?
I personally wanted them to either break up or separate because you've watched it as long as I have. Kathy and Rob, y'all have watched it. When you're a twin wrestler and your identical twin is a wrestler, what happens? You're stuck in that whole category of being a tag team wrestler.
Hmm.
You never get a chance for people to see what you could do on your own as a singles wrestler. And I could name many other instances. We had Eight Ball and Skull, aka Ron and Don Harris. They never got a chance to be singles wrestlers. I've seen what's another twin tag team, the Cole Twins, way back in WCW in the early '90s. They never got a chance, So the only that, and this is why I respect the Bellas a lot because the Bellas, Brie and Nikki, they were able to show people that they're more than just twin tag team. They can hold their own in singles, and that's something I've only seen once in another situation. That was with OVW and the Blossom Twins, who were also who were also mainstays at OVW and were also in TNA British Boot Camp, which also included Rockstar Spud and Marty Skrull. And they actually were able to hold the OVW Women's title, which is a singles title, on two separate occasions, each of them. So I know the Usos, they're a great tag team. And don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of the Samoan Dynasty. Shout out to Vale Anawai, who we had the pleasure of having on our show. But if not break up, I'd like to see them get separated for a bit. See Jay do his thing, on another brand, Jimmy do his thing on another brand, build that up. So
Yeah.
that way, when it comes back together, it'll be something big. But I don't think at this point in their careers it'll happen. They're still young, but
I
I
don't think
don't think,
WWE gets a better grasp of their tag team division and build some real tag teams, you cannot break up the Usos. Would I like to see it? Yes, I am confident that um Jay can go on his own. We saw him main event against Roman Reigns and he held his own. I want to see what Jimmy can do.
yeah, Jimmy I feel will be fine. Just pair him with his wife and they'll be cool. But yeah, I don't think it'll happen. But Timothy Flair's like, never break up the Usos. My heart can't. You'll be fine, Timothy. You'll be fine. You still got Becky. But yeah, so I just got two more questions. 'Cause I know Rob and Kathy, they have a couple of questions. But so in terms of you watch WWE, what are some other promotions that you watch? Because you're also I think you're also you either contributor to another podcast, or I think you're also a contributor to a magazine of sorts.
I work for
I
Wrestling Inc. So I do. I contribute with Wrestling Inc. I work on their shows. I cover NXT for them and I cover SmackDown and Rampage.
Awesome. That's great, and congratulations on that too. I know that
Thank you.
you're a hardworking woman, and I always like to see people that have that fandom take it and elevate it to something even bigger, and I'm always there for that, especially when they work hard. I like to see that. But
Likewise,
so
I think make your passion. If you make your passion your job, then it never feels like a job. So
yeah, hence the reason why I started Ringside Society. It was 2012, and I was like, I want to be more than a fan. I want to do something like possibly behind the scenes, and
right.
here we are. So my second to last question is, outside of WWE and AEW, what are some other promotions that you enjoy watching that you would recommend to your fellow fans as well?
I think Impact is doing really good job, really great stuff, and not enough people watches it. And this has nothing to do with just the AEW contribution. They're not even working with AEW anymore. I think Impact has been doing a lot of good stuff, and they just don't get enough of a platform for people to see what stuff is going on. I think Impact has, if not the best women division going on right now. So I would say Impact, surprisingly enough. Every time I don't watch it live, but every time I tune in, I have it on the DVR and I have a good time watching their show.
Yeah, that's yeah. Impact is pretty good. My thing with them is, I just wish that, I mean, if they're not working with AEW anymore, that's fine. I guess it's better for them because it didn't, to me, it just didn't look well for them. Like,
Yeah.
you had Kenny Omega come over and hold your title. Okay, Kenny Omega's a great wrestler. Then you didn't even have him lose to one of your wrestlers. You had him lose to Christian Cage, who then in turn lost to, I guess, Josh Alexander.
Who lost to
And
Moose on the same night? What a mess.
yeah, yeah, and it's like we didn't even see any of the tag team wrestlers
Right.
going over. I mean, we saw the Good Brothers, but that's only because them and Kenny have a history.
Right.
But we never saw, DK going over there. I would have loved to see DK go over there. Here's an idea. Have DK start something with, who's that girl that comes out with all the makeup and she's in red and black? Oh, Abaddon.
Yes.
I would love to see Abaddon
That
and
would actually
DK,
be good.
an Abaddon and DK interaction. I would love to see the Undead Bride, Su Young, and Abaddon have an interaction or a match. You know, I would have loved to see Deanna Perrazzo go ahead and go face to face with, who was holding the belt at the time, Hikaru Shida or Dr. Britt Baker. I would have loved DMD. I would love to see that, but I don't know what that deal was about. But to
It seemed
me,
very odd. It seemed very odd because it was a handful of people that we kept seeing go back and forth. It was never like the entire. They could have done some kind of invasion or something different, but they didn't do that. It was just always the same people.
yeah. So yeah, so I think it could have been done better, and I think unless it's going to be done better than the last deal than this recent deal that they have with AEW, I think Impact Wrestling should just focus on their own. And if they're going to do any forbidden door dealings, let it be with some other promotion like Ring of Honor. That should have been a deal that was struck years ago.
Yeah.
Let them do it with GCW. Let them do it with a promote because to me like the AEW thing just it was great on paper, but it just didn't work out the way fans would have wanted to, or most fans would have wanted to.
You know,
So
while you say that, to go back on your questions and answer outside of the box, because I was very only watching WWE for years. I like production value, and somehow I got into AEW later on, not from the beginning. I got into AEW recently, probably after their first year. But I will say one promotion that has been rising and I've been enjoying will be GCW. I really like their work. I'm a big Nick Gage fan because I told you I like violence. So I would say GCW is another one that I've been watching, and I think they're doing great work.
yeah, I've never seen a GCW show before. I have to. It's on my to-do list.
It gets
I'm
crazy.
I'm I'm probably gonna make it a New Year's resolution, like because I used to enjoy watching CZW,
Hmm.
and their matches were top notch. I enjoyed every one of their pay-per-views. So I'm definitely gonna make and the funny thing is I once met Brett Lauderdale in person 8 years ago in New Jersey when he was a referee for this other promotion called Pro Wrestling Syndicate. And I shook his hand. I didn't take a picture with him, but I shook his hand. And now to see him be the owner of one of the most talked about promotions in professional wrestling, I'm like, once again, wow, I'm very happy for him.
Hmm.
I mean, being a referee isn't bad, but to actually go ahead and say, something, you don't, you want to have your own promotion, you want to have people work for you. That's a great thing. So I'm definitely gonna, if not by the end of this year, definitely next year, I'm gonna start watching them. So my last question before I turn it over to Kathy, what are some future events that you actually hope to attend?
I'm going to say Money in the Bank because I haven't been to one, and it's just like I go back and see all the events that I attended, and I'm like, how have I never been to a Money in the Bank? Survivor Series was on that list, but they're coming here this weekend, so I'll be there. And Double or Nothing. I really enjoy the energy and the atmosphere of attending AEW live. It's a complete different beast, and I know that Double or Nothing is their other big one. I was lucky enough to be at All Out this year, and I was like, I don't know what's going to live up to that because that pay per view was just perfection in my opinion. As far as fan energy in the building go and the pacing. So Double or Nothing and Money in the Bank will probably be the two that I really want to attend. I'll probably do Money in the Bank this year because it's in Vegas and I'll find any excuse to go to Vegas. So
Ah, yes, good old Vegas. I was there once.
it's
Wasn't
amazing.
Sorry to all my Las Vegans, but I wasn't really that impressed. But then again, I live in New York, you
I live in
know.
New York too,
I,
and Las Vegas is the Disney World of
but
adults.
but no, 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 no. Here's my story. I'm gonna tell you a brief story. I live in New York. I've lived in Fort Lauderdale, Florida for 7 years. What's next to Fort Lauderdale? Miami. So I've been in that situation too. I've been to Chicago, Texas, and Los Angeles, and then I was recently in Japan for 3 years, and I've been to Tokyo. It's a nice place, and I was in Osaka, which is another city in Japan.
Yeah.
Great city. I enjoy it. So the whole partying and big lights aspect. By the time I came to Las Vegas, I'm like, I've done this already, man. Like it's just another city with lights. I mean, yeah, but we can get lit. We can party. I'm like, I've partied in Miami. I've partied in New York, and I've partied in Los Angeles or San Diego, and I've partied in Japan. Like,
You gotta do Vegas with a
I
group of
mean,
people, and then you have to hit it big at a casino, and you see a whole different side of partying. That's
I
that's
think maybe, I think maybe that's the problem. It was like I went by myself, so I was maybe I'll go again with a group of people, but I'm too busy looking at other places that I want to visit, like Seattle and Houston. So I'm not ruling it out, but if I go, yeah, maybe I'll go with a group of people and just see how it is. But I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Kathy. I know Kathy has some questions, so Kathy, go ahead. The floor is yours.
All right, thanks for me. Hi, Isa. Thanks for coming on the show this morning.
Hi, how are you? I miss your face. We need to get together again.
I
It's been too
know.
long.
Yeah, since January of last year.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was the last event I went to for the longest time, that Royal Rumble.
Yep, that was pretty fun.
It was.
So speaking of meeting people, meeting wrestlers, we all know like you're a big fan of Brock and you're a big fan of Roman, and you just said that earlier. But you actually, I mean, Demon Diva comes from the demon part is Finn. A lot of people forget that, and we've had Finn's abs are in the chat too. So hi to him. I still remember like his posts and stuff to you on Twitter.
Yes.
But you are also a big Randy Orton fan and a big
Yes.
Becky Lynch fan,
Huge Becky
which
Lynch fan. You know
yes,
that.
yes, which was awesome. You did like the bow down to her when you met
Yes.
her and stuff like that, which was awesome. And you also like Shinsuke. But
Yes.
so what are some lesser known favorites that you have like that people don't know about? Because we know about all these other ones that you're pretty popular for that and made known that for those, but who are like some lesser favorites that we might not know that you like?
I'm a huge Seth Rollins fan, and I think that maybe because he hasn't been in a major storyline lately, I don't get the chance to share how much I love Seth. I met him on multiple occasions. I think he's incredible, amazing. I have found a big liking to MJF on AEW. That's probably my latest one, and I also think Damian Priest is incredible. I loved him in NXT. I loved him as Punishment Martinez, but obviously coming in and doing what he did with Bad Bunny, who is my favorite singer, excuse me, it just like completely turned the whole Latino Puerto Rican aspect, and seeing a wrestler being booked somewhat the right way, because they don't really do the best of job at booking, certain kind of wrestlers. So yeah, I'm gonna say MJF, Damian Priest are probably two that I have recently starting liking, that people might start noticing with my tweets and all that.
Yeah, speaking of MJF, didn't you go to Full Gear and you
I
dressed
did.
in like you had a
I
like an
did.
MJF type skirt? That was pretty
Yes.
funny.
Yes.
So, speaking of Full Gear, what was it like being in the audience? Like you got to see Hangman win and just the energy, and MJF was there with Darby. They had their match. So, what was it like being in the crowd?
I'm having mic issues today. I don't know what we're all having technical difficulties. Um, so I thought that moment was absolutely incredible. And like I was sharing earlier, I was afraid to go to Full Gear because I thought that um all Out was just such a perfect experience for me. I was like, Full Gear is not gonna live up to this, and I just started liking AEW. I don't want to hate it, and Full Gear did live up to it in a different perspective, right? All Out had the surprises, like what you weren't expecting, where All Out felt like he paid off. And if you're a long term fan, my favorite match that night was NJF and Darby, which is awesome to see the pillars, right? The old school people that started AEW get a chance to shine like that. And the Hangman Page moment, I wasn't into Hangman Page when I first got into AEW. I didn't get it, and then I went back obviously and got into the story and realized how long of a story how long they've been telling the story, and whether you like him or not, you had to, like, you waited for this payout. Like, I hope he has a long-term title reign. There's so many people in line for him, coming for him right now, that I don't know how it'll go, but just being there for that moment is probably going to rank pretty high up on things that I got into experience live with AEW, and I have gotten to see some insane moments. And recently I was on a mission of attending as many events as I can to make up for 2020. So AEW has been one that I've been to a lot, and I've seen a lot of things. So for me to say that Hangman Page winning the title ranks probably top three right now is big. When I saw, I got to see Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson. I got to see Punk's first wrestling match. Like, I got to see so many things, and that moment still ranks pretty high up for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'd seen a tweet. Somebody was like, "Oh, AEW doesn't have storylines." I'm like, dude, the one big storyline was Hangman, like all the whole year, and it culminated with him winning. I had even said, like in our prediction show, I was like, I was ready for cowboy shit to turn into champ shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think AEW does a really good job at telling stories. It's just that they tell stories differently than what we're used to. I think WWE blows their load right away on certain stories, where AEW might even take too long at times, but I also think that maybe I will never know, but I think that Hangman Page time would have been before if life hadn't happened and he requested that time off. He had a baby. There's priorities. Like these people are there to entertain us, but they have real lives too. So I thought it was perfect. I thought it paid off perfectly, and it was an awesome moment. And shout out to Kenny Omega because I used to not be into him at all, and now he's probably one of my favorite things. And his reign was pretty epic.
Yeah, Kenny put in the work definitely.
Hmm.
Not just in AEW, but like we talked about earlier, he went to Impact and was their champion. And then yeah, he definitely deserves some time off if he's gonna take some time off.
Hmm.
He worked really, really hard. So, props to him. Even if you're a fan or not of him, he definitely deserves all the applause and props and flowers and all of that. So
Yeah.
yeah. I definitely want to go to an AEW show. There's one supposed to be like this coming April in New Orleans, so I think I might go to that one just to get the experience. I've never been to one. They don't really
It's
come, in the South too much.
It's so
So
different, Kathy. Like you're going to love it. But I will tell you, as somebody that has been recently to both shows, it's a different audience. Like AEW knows what kind of audience they're going for. They're going for people like you, like Rob, like myself. They're not going for the. You don't see families, right? You go to a WWE event and you see family. You see the kids dressed as John Cena. You barely see any at an AEW event. It's a
yeah,
different. It's a different vibe.
they're so loud too. They make me miss like the old WWE crowds
Yes.
where when they were loud, and like AEW's pretty loud too. So I was like, man, I miss that nostalgia. Because they're not too. I mean, they get loud in WWE at
Not
some
like that.
points.
Yep.
Some towns and some points they get loud, but like AEW's loud like every show, so it keeps you
Hmm.
pumped.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I definitely miss that in WWE.
Me
That's
too.
something they need to work on. So I saw you had a Queen of Everything mug that you were drinking out of, and it's true. Like you are the Queen of Everything. You're on all these podcasts, and like you just mentioned that you work for Wrestle Inc. And you also you used to be on a podcast with Matt Morgan at one point,
Yeah, he was
and
on Wrestling Inc. Yes.
yeah, and you were with our good friend Ant with Rant with Ant. You were on
Yes.
their panel too. So like what makes you like did they come to you for these podcasts, or you reached out to them, or like what makes you so popular, you think?
I don't know. Ant and Phil came to me, which I was like very honored by that. I was a listener of the show, and I think they knew that I was doing podcasts and YouTube. So I think obviously you want to find someone that's comfortable speaking on the mic and being able to, you have to have a certain something where you clash with everybody, no matter who you're talking to, right? And Wrestling Inc., yes, I remember also viewing their shows and just kind of like asking Rush, like, don't you want a female in there somewhere? Because it was a sausage fest. And, I asked the question and I got what I asked for because now I'm there. And I absolutely love it. I think Wrestling Inc. is a great platform and their audience is a lot of fun. I didn't know because they had the same host for so long. Wrestling Inc. has been the biggest wrestling website for years. I didn't know how they were gonna take on to me coming in, newer, and I thought the audience is great there as well. But yeah, I like talking wrestling, so I'll do it all day if you let me.
Yeah. Wrestling's something we all are passionate about, we all care about. So yeah, we could all, all of us could probably talk all day about it. And it's
Hmm.
cool like when I go to wrestling shows and I meet, like I used to go before the show started to try to meet the wrestlers, and
Yeah.
there's a few people that do the same thing too. So like you get into all these conversations about wrestling, and it's crazy like what they talk about, and it's just like,
Hmm.
yeah, like you could talk about wrestling all day to like complete strangers, and by the end of the show they become friends. So
Yes.
it's pretty awesome. Like wrestling is awesome that way. So you have your own podcast of sorts. You have like a YouTube channel,
Yes.
and you also have a vlog channel, which is hilarious. Like the clips that you post on Twitter, like the last one I saw was for, I think it was Dynamite, with MJF was talking and CM Punk came out, and you like ran out the room and then came back. Like those make me laugh a lot, and I know like a lot of people like to watch it and they enjoy that, which I think is why you get like all these jobs, because of that. It's so funny. So like what made you want to do like a vlog and a YouTube channel in the first place?
So I was obviously attending the reactions. The YouTube channel started with reactions because I don't fake my reactions. I know a lot of times people will be like, "Why didn't you post a reaction to this?" And I'm like, "Cause I didn't watch it live. And if I really know what's gonna happen, you're not going to get my legit reaction." the NJF and Punk. I've been begging for this feud since I heard CM Punk was coming back. So of course, my brain was, I didn't know what to do, so I ran around the room. I went to a Monday Night Raw episode with Justin Labar. He contributes with Busted Open Radio, and I used to do a segment on his podcast at that time. And he was taking notes of the things I was saying because he said I was just being so outrageous. He said, "You need to." He said, "You're the most fun person I ever watched wrestling with. Why don't you do something about that?" And that's how the reactions, started. The vlog started because I feel like a lot of times people tell me in my chat, because I do live streams almost every day, and a lot of times people tell me, "Oh, I wish I was lucky enough to go to these events. I want to know not just the show, not what you see on TV, but like people getting together, hanging out with other fans." So I decided I'm going to start vlogging my experience when I attend these events and just put it out for people to see. And people seem to be liking when I vlog the events that I attend. So that's going to be something that sticks around. I have my full gear vlog that I will probably have out this Tuesday.
Yeah, I think that's how we met, because like you would go to the shows in groups, and you went with my good friend Nicole. So that's like I started following you through her, and I was like, man, y'all are a wild bunch when y'all go to New York, you know. So I was like, wow. So then like me and you and I became friends, and
Mm-hmm.
like I watch your stuff on Twitter, and it's so funny because you're like, oh my god, I'm pregnant, you know, like all these events that happen, like you get so excited, you're like, oh my god, and
I
then of
say
course.
I say things without thinking, and then sometimes I go back and watch my own reactions, and I'm like, "Why did I just say? What the hell
Yeah,
did I just
you
say?"
you watch it like one eye open. You're like, oh my god, why did I say
Yes.
that? But it's funny. That's why people love you. Like it's so hilarious. Like and it's genuine. You know, like it's off the cuff. That's what you say. And then of course, like with Roman, you're such a big Roman fan. You did like the whole Ladywood thing, and
Yes.
to the point where like Roman even knows about it. So like
Yes.
that's
Oh
pretty
my god,
cool.
I was so embarrassed when I walked the first time I met Roman Reigns. I walked up to him and he asked me. The first thing he ever said to me was, "How's that Ladywood now?" And I was like, "Ah, shit." I was like, "It's pretty hard," but no, yeah, Roman is incredible. You talked about meeting wrestlers, and obviously, I went through stomach cancer, and I feel like wrestling is something that helped me make it through those times. I remember laying in bed feeling like total garbage watching wrestling and watching old pay-per-views, and I got to share with Roman Reigns that watching him helped me through my own experience. So when he came back from the leukemia and he thanked the fans, I was like, no, you don't realize how many fans you're also helping. So I that stuck with him, because every time I meet him now, he always just asks me how I'm doing, how my health is going. Roman Reigns is a class act, and he even knows that my name is named Roman after him, and he'd be like, "How's little Roman?" He always asks. So he's on a different level of just being nice, and I think a lot of times people will say, "Oh, you like him because he's hot," and he's like, "No, that's a bonus." But you don't know my story to understand why I say Roman Reigns is my favorite of all time. It's because we went through a health issue, and wrestling helped us through
Yeah, we say that in Louisiana we call that lagniappe. It's extra.
it.
So like
Right.
extra, yeah. Roman being hot is extra, you know, like
Right.
he's the total package. Like he cares about
Hmm.
people and it's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like when I met Becky actually at Fitterman when
Another
we
one.
were together when me and you were there. I gave her some M&Ms. I know she likes like mint M&Ms. I gave that to her, and then for so that was the autograph part, and then for the picture part, she was like, "There you are!" Like she was waiting for me, and I was like, just mind blown. I was like, it's crazy how all these they're celebrities in their own right. All these wrestlers, they actually remember pretty much everybody they meet. Because she
Yeah.
remember, well, I did meet her like 3 times in less than a year, but she remembered who I was. And I was
Hmm.
like, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, they become involved, and it's awesome. When I by the time I got to Roman Fitterman, I met him quite a few times. So when you know how the setup was, they had the curtain. So when they opened the curtain, he was like, "There you are, bring it in for the real thing," and I die laughing. Becky too. Becky I met on multiple occasions, and by the time I met her in Fitterman, I had done the bow down thing. She had the SmackDown Women's Championship. So when I got up to her at Fitterman, I was like, I have to do it again because now you had the Raw Women's Championship. So I have to have both pictures. And she was all up for it. She was like, you have no idea how much I love this. And she loved the bowing down thing. So she's great. I think a lot of them are a lot of fun to meet. If you meet them in the right environment, right? Like, don't be a creep at the airport. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Kathy, tell her about how you got your last. Tell Isa how you got your last name.
Oh, Knight right here. Uh,
Yes,
so yeah, Mama Knight adopted me, Paige's mom.
that's
So yeah,
amazing.
now I'm a knight. I'm part of Paige's family. I'm like Paige's sister that she never wanted.
As you should be, as you should be. You've been supporting her for so long. That's how I know you too, for being
Yeah,
yeah, for being a patron.
And
yeah.
you want the
Go ahead.
funny, astounding thing about Kathy is that she's not only Paige knows her, but the whole family knows her. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Jeez. Go, go
It's-
ahead, Kathy.
Yep. Papa Knight knows me. He didn't tell me happy birthday this year, but he told me happy birthday last year. And then of course Mama Knight knows me too because I met her in Dallas. And of course Paige. She wished me happy birthday like 2 or 3 times, but I'm not gonna say what she said, but because I don't want her to get like a bad rap. She already has like a bad rap sometimes, but yeah, just stuff in her Twitch stream. She has like a little pet name for me, and it's nothing big, but I would say she was like, on her Twitch yesterday, she was like, "Happy birthday, bitch." So it's like that's just kind of like the relationship we have. It's not like a bad thing. It's just like like when sisters or girlfriends or whatever, like friends. That's how they talk to each other. Some people
I-
might get offended, but it
yeah.
is what it is.
Yeah,
So she
I
was,
think people don't realize how much attention they pay to their fan base and
yeah,
how involved they are with, they know, especially with social media now. There's so many names and handles that they probably see so many times, either praising them or not praising them. That, but you and Paige, you have history, girl. Like that's a
yeah.
different relationship.
Yeah, we have like a sister picking on each other relationship. We like to roast each other. That's just the relationship we have, and it blows my mind. Like she's on Twitch now for almost 2 years,
Hmm.
and she got to know me through Twitch, and I'm like one of her moderators and stuff like that. And she sees me every time I pop up. She's like, "Hey, Kathy," like she knows me by name, and I'm like, I even tweeted that I was like, "It's pretty crazy. Your favorite just wished you a happy birthday." Like it still
Yeah.
blows my mind.
Yeah,
It's just that
I felt that way the one time that Roman Reigns said, "You tell little Roman I say hi," and I'm like, "Holy crap!" Like you remember that I named my dog after you? Like that is like that to me. I was mind blown at that because I know they see the face, but I remember telling him, "Hey, I got a dog and I named him Roman." It was so funny too because he was like, "Oh, is it a big German Shepherd, a Rottweiler?" I'm like, "No, it's a 4 pound Yorkie, buddy."
Yeah, or like I just said too, like earlier at Fitterman when Becky was waiting for it. So you do the autographs, and if you paid for it too, you do the photo ops. And it was like she was waiting for me because when I walked in the curtain, she was like, "Oh, there she is." And I'm like, it kind of got me startled. Like I didn't even know what to say, and I'm like, "Yep," that's like all I could say. So I was like, wow, like she really remembers me. But yeah, like it's crazy how, like I said earlier, how these wrestlers remember who they meet. And they can meet them just once. It doesn't have to be like 3 times, like I met Becky, but like they'll meet you once and they will remember you. Because if they see you at a show again and you're like in the front row, because like Alex is in the chat right now and she's in France and she went to the UK show that they just had, and she had a Becky sign and a Seth sign, and Becky remembered her just from like her talking to her on Twitter and stuff like that, and just meeting her too. So I was like, that's pretty cool. Like wrestlers are cool in that regard. Your mic's muted again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever see my reactions to Drew McIntyre?
Yeah.
All right.
I
So
still can't believe you met him and you don't even like him. I'm
so
jealous.
that's what I was gonna talk about, how cool wrestlers are and like how much they understand certain things. When I went to Puerto Rico, I went there for a weekend just to take my mom to a house show because my mom is a huge wrestling fan. I should have mentioned her earlier as well. And it was my goal to take her front row in Puerto Rico. I took her to Madison Square Garden so she can't complain, but I wanted to do it at home so that she could chant the Spanish chants and all that. So we ran into Drew McIntyre. Now, my mom is a huge Drew McIntyre fan. I, on the other hand, will pretend to fall asleep when he talked on Twitter. So I had to do the translating, and I have my mask on, and I'm hoping that he doesn't know. So I go to translate, and I say, my mom is saying that she's going to be rooting for you tonight. And Drew McIntyre looks at me, and he's like, yeah, but are you going to be rooting for me? No. And I'm like, so he started talking about how he's seen my reactions, and we ended up laughing it off, and I got a picture with him and everything. So that's how cool some of these wrestlers can be, because I know that I was not very positive about Drew McIntyre, and he was able to just have a good laugh about it with me.
Yeah, you're being the big Brock fan that you are, and they feuded. So I mean, you have to not like you like Brock. So I mean, I like Drew. So and I'd see your post, and I'm like, I'm gonna let that one slide. I love you, Issa, but I love Drew too.
That night, excuse me, on the show, well, like I told you, we had really good seats. And when he finished the match, he came by and he looked at my mom and he said, "Nice to see you again, dear." And sorry, at that moment, my mom's look and everything was just so priceless that I was like, I will never be able to say anything negative about this man again, just because of the way he made my mom feel. Because that's the only reason why I took her. I wanted her to have that moment, and he made my mom feel like a kid again, and it was epic.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, we always post stuff. You know, people post stuff on social media, and not thinking that they're gonna see it, but they do see a lot more stuff than we think they do. So it's like, oops.
yeah. Britt Baker saw my very inappropriate tweet about her, and she liked it. So
Oh,
the-
okay.
that was funny.
Yeah, Chris Jericho, you know, everybody said, you know, that's how some people know me. Chris Jericho read my tweet on Raw. I didn't even tag him. So he did, I guess he did like a vanity
I
search or
remember
something
that.
with the Rudy Tooty Booty tweet.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even tag him in it, and he read it on Raw. So it's like, you never know what they see.
I didn't tag Britt Baker on that tweet that I sent out at Full Gear, and it was just, I'm not gonna quote the tweet necessarily, but it's just going to talk about how she's my girl crush, and it started taking off, and for some reason she liked it, and I'm like, I thought it was gonna get me blocked, and I was like, this girl, I love when they have a sense of humor. I do.
Yeah, there's stuff you like, I don't know if,
I
you know,
know,
I crossed the line. I'm like, oops. That's how, like, me and Paige talk like that in Twitch. Like, I'll say something, we like to roast her, and I'm like, I hope nobody blocks me, but it ended up
right,
she roast me back. So I was like, well, might as well keep going.
right, right.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool too. So my last question or thing before I turn it over to Rob, you kind of mentioned it earlier. Survivor Series is tomorrow, but tonight you have a panel with
Yes,
jobber tears and those wrestling girls, and there's also a party afterwards.
hell yeah.
So if you want to plug it, go ahead.
Yeah, of course. If anybody is a local or is coming to is in New York for Survivor Series, we're going to have a little bit of a wrestling talk panel. This should be a lot of fun. And there's an after party with a DJ, food, alcohol. You guys tune into my channels. You know that I love to party. My streams are called pre gaming. We have a drink before every show. So now we get to party in real life. So come to Legends, go onto my Twitter or even my Instagram story. I will be posting all the details. You can still RSVP for it tonight, and let's just have some fun, and maybe we'll do a better job at building Survivor Series than WWE did.
Right? I do. Remy was doing like this. I know what that means. He's probably gonna go because he said he was gonna go. So you might see Remy there.
Awesome, awesome. Let's have a drink.
So Jobber Tears. Actually, I've met Sir Wilkins
He's
several
awesome.
times. He remembers who I am, and it's funny thing is well, I first saw him like 7 years ago at a WrestleMania 30 viewing party, but I met him in person in Tampa at a GCW event, not Game Changers. There's also Generation Championship Wrestling, which is pretty good. I met him there, and then I met him again. It was actually at the New York City Comic Con, and I was like, "Yo, bro, we met in Tampa." He's like, "Yeah, man, you remembered me." And then I was recently at the AEW Full Gear viewing party that they had. That's where
Okay.
I met him too. So they pretty much have pretty much he knows who I am. And
Yeah.
we've had Queen P on here before. Queen P and I have actually talked several times on Twitter. Met her finally as well at the New York City Comic Con. So I'm like, it's only fitting that I go ahead and support, and just hang, with, my fellow wrestling fans and whatnot and so on.
Yeah, come through and hang out. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited about it. I get to socialize, which I rarely ever do.
Yeah, well, Rob and I will be in spirit through Remy, I guess, if he's gonna go. So tell everybody hi for us. So before I turn it over to Rob, just want to say thank you for coming on the show. I love you dearly, love you to death, and have an awesome time tonight at the panel and the party, and have a good time at Survivor Series tomorrow.
Oh, thanks,
Well,
Kathy.
Sunday.
Sunday. And I got to do Raw too on Monday, which Whatever.
Oh boy.
Thank you so much. You know, I absolutely adore you. And New Orleans is on my bucket list to go watch a wrestling event. So maybe we'll do it together when I do that.
Yes. I might go to Dallas, but I don't think I'm gonna go to WrestleMania itself. But
Why did I know you were gonna say that? You're probably gonna do the meet and greets and bounce.
yep, yep, exactly. Depending if Drew, if Finn, or Alexa or all three go over there, I'll probably do that. But yeah, it would have to take like a really big WrestleMania for me to go back to WrestleMania. I went to 34 and I
Yeah.
did like kind of the whole week, and that's like pretty expensive. So
It is, and imagine 2 nights. I like the idea of 2 nights from home,
yeah,
right? But when you start thinking about attending it, I did WrestleMania 32 in Dallas, and I tell you one thing: one night parking was $60, 60
ooh,
for one night. So imagine, and it's the kind of city that you have to drive. It's not like where everything's walking distance, like your city. Like that's, I wish they
yeah,
did WrestleMania in New Orleans every year because that's fun. You
yes.
can walk everywhere, and you want to get drunk, it doesn't matter. But I think the perspective of watching it from home 2 nights is an excellent concept. But when you're thinking about going live, that changes people's decision on attending or not because it's a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't know how people do it year after year. That good on them. I guess they save up, but like shit's expensive.
It
So
is. It is.
yeah. The one regret I do have is though I should have went to that Royal Rumble, the one that you went to, because I was when
Ah,
Edge came back.
so good. I know.
I'm
I
still
thought about
kicking
you. I
myself
thought
about it.
about you. I thought about you because I was like, why did she not? You drove all the way there. You should have stayed. And
Yep.
I had a lot of fun at that Royal Rumble. You had the Edge return. You
Yep.
had, as a Brock Lesnar fan, I thought the first half of that Royal Rumble was perfection, where he was just eliminating people left and
Yeah.
right. Obviously, I wasn't a fan of the finish. And it wasn't that I wasn't a fan of the finish. It's because as soon as Drew won, I knew he was gonna dethrone Brock. So I was like,
Yeah.
there goes my good run with Brock Lesnar. But it was a fun event to attend. Asuka and Becky had a killer match. You
Yep.
had the Fiend and Bryan had the strap match, probably the only strap match I ever enjoyed. That ended up being a very, very fun event.
Yeah, I'm kicking myself about that. Like Edge return, Drew won. So I
Yeah.
was like, but it was on a Sunday. I had to go to work
Yeah.
Monday, so I was like,
And we had
But
the Baron Corbin Roman Reigns match that went all over the place. They were wrestling literally right next to me, and I don't know how I didn't jump to try to save Roman. I think my friends had to hold me back.
yeah, but I'm thinking about going to. I might go to WrestleMania in Dallas. I don't know if I'm gonna go to the show, but I definitely, if access, like if they're doing that, I might see about going, because it's like a 7-hour drive. I've been to Dallas already,
Yeah.
so
Let
I
me
might
know.
do it again.
We'll do a redo of our picture. We need a new one.
Yeah,
That was a pre-pandemic picture. Now we need a post-pandemic one.
right. Yeah, we need to catch up again. But
Yes, we do.
yeah, I love you to pieces, and I'll turn it over to Rob.
Love you too.
All right, sweet. Thank you, Kathy. So what's going on? How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm having fun talking to you guys.
Oh, well, that's good. I'm enjoying myself listening to the stories and all that good stuff. You know, what I mean, y'all are too awesome. Y'all are too awesome. I feel like I'm bringing the show down when I come up on here. You hear that Delaware twang and this country dude on here, and like, oh man, got to change the channel now. So I gotta ask. I'm in Delaware and stuff, and I've always heard about the trains, going up to New York and all. And what is like the closest train station? Like, say I wanted to go up to Wilmington right now, hop on the train, roll to New York. What I mean, join y'all for the party. Like, is there anything train stations near where that's at? And is it like
Yes, you come to
walking
Penn
distance?
Station. Come to Penn Station.
Yeah,
Come
okay,
on, you
Penn
have fun.
Station.
If you jump on that train right now, you can have a drink tonight.
See, I don't drink or smoke. You know what I mean?
You
But
gonna
you can
drink
have the drink
water?
for me.
When I say a
Yeah,
drink,
you can
I'm
drink.
talking for all
Yeah,
ages.
yeah, there you go. I'd hang out with RVD though, but y'all can have drinks for me. You know what I mean? You can do all that. So yeah, but yeah, I got to do that sometimes because I've driven up to New York before, and it's stressful. Oh, I don't like driving up there. That in
Oh
New
no, it's the
Jersey,
worst.
believe it or not.
I walk everywhere.
Oh yeah, New Jersey, like I don't like driving there because you can't make a left turn. You always got to turn right and then do jug handles to get to your left and stuff. And I'm like, oh my lord.
Accurate.
Yeah. Yeah, but New York, yeah, I love going to New York. I remember going there one time. It was like 02, 03 for New Year's Eve, and my buddy and I, we couldn't get close to the ball or anything, and we went to this jazz club. I think it was in Harlem. I remember us walking in there, and we're the only two white people there. All the music stopped, and everybody just it was like the movie, like, and then went back again, and we had the most fun time ever. You know what I mean? We out there in the parking lot just jamming all night, and Yeah, New York is just a blast. I love going up there. I need to go up there some more.
You should. You
Plus,
should. It's on a
yeah,
different level. Here it's fun.
yeah. Plus Remy's there. You know, what I mean, I get up there, I can meet Remy and stuff. And then we gotta go get together, go down to New Orleans and see Kathy. That's what we gotta do.
Hell yeah.
That's right. So, are you ready for Survivor Series? I mean, there hasn't really been like a big build and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, to be honest, the
No.
only match I'm excited for is like Becky and Charlotte. Other than that, I'm like, okay,
See, I'm
how are you feeling?
excited. I'm excited for bias reason for Shinsuke and Damian Priest, and that is the match that probably has had the
Ooh,
least
yes.
build up. They announced it on social media and they played a video package on Monday, and that's it. We haven't even seen Priest on Monday Night Raw in 2 weeks. When we saw Shinsuke last night, I thought they were giving him that match to have some kind of to set up an angle, have Priest come out and jump him or something. But I think they're two of my favorites right now, so I'm excited to see them. I like the Raw versus SmackDown champion versus champion concept. I just don't think it needs to be called Survivor Series. Just call it bragging rights because this is not what Survivor Series is supposed to be. But I think that three champion versus champion matches, Becky and Charlotte, you have Priest and Shinsuke and Big E and Roman. I think they're going to be very good matches, regardless of the lack of build up they gave them.
Yeah, I can't deny that. That Shinsuke and Priest that match, I
It's
think
gonna
that's gonna
slap.
be the
Yes.
sleeper. That's gonna be a sleeper. Like, yeah, people are gonna be like, oh yeah, and then it's gonna be like, oh my gosh, like yeah, they were tearing it up.
Listen, there's a part of me that want them to steal the show because they didn't give him any build up. And I want them to show up and show everybody that the mid card titles are just as important. You have AEW, not to bring them back up, but the way that they treat their TNT title, and then you have WWE not even giving these guys TV times that have titles that have such history behind them, and you don't even see them on TV. So I hope that they show up and steal the show just so people go, oh crap, the US champion and the IC champs are badasses too.
That's right. They ain't give birth to that roof, but they definitely gonna raise it. You know what I mean? That's what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, I loved the Intercontinental Belt. You know what I mean? That was like one of
Yes.
my favorite championships. You know what I mean? Now they just, yeah, it's like, oh, okay, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a shame. And the
Now
US
that
title
road,
too, think about it. When I got back into wrestling shortly after, John Cena started doing those open challenges and
oh
brought that
yeah,
title back to life. And now you see it. And I have very mixed feelings about how they've been booking Priest because it's like they put him on TV for like 3 weeks and he has like match of the night, but then you don't see him for like 3 weeks and he loses
hmm
all that momentum. So I'm very confused about what they're doing with him right now.
yeah. I am happy though that Priest, he's the like of all the NXT call ups and stuff that got the Shaft and Release and all
Right.
that stuff. He's the one that's like, he's overstepped and doing his thing. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm happy for it because I got to see him when he was Punisher Martinez too, way back in
Yeah.
the day and stuff.
Love
Yeah, he
him
was
as
awesome. I was
Punisher.
like, yes, I'm glad. Yeah, glad to see him. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I
So,
love him as Punisher. I like what he's doing. Would love for him to go full heel and just to see what he can do as a heel.
oh yeah, that's right.
Hmm.
Now, how do you feel about all these releases? You know, what I mean, WWE. Now, I think I actually think they're going to sell the. Vince is going to sell it. I think he'd rather sell it than to give it up to Triple H or Stephanie and Shane or whatever. And hold on, something just popped up right here on my news feed. WWF has come to the terms of the release of Ringside Society.
Oh
Dang. All right,
no!
I guess we out too, man. Damn.
Everybody
All
have a
right,
great
but
day. Come 2 legends later. Bye bye.
oh man. So what do you think? What do you think about that? Do you think he's like gonna sell it or whatever, or do you think he's just like gonna or so? I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's thinking.
So I talked a little bit about that on my stream because I said as a fan, and when it comes to morale and ethics, this is not it. Like it's not a good look for the company. But when it comes to business, business do not involve anybody's feeling. If you're just trying to budget cut so that your expenses are less, it looks a lot better to an investor that's looking to buy your company. Are they setting up to sell? Possibly. I also think that for the longest time WWE hoarded talent, and right now they're
hmm
probably starting to look at that payroll and seeing, holy crap, how much are we spending on talent when we're only putting 10 people on TV? Why
hmm
keep them? And is it ethical? No. Is it good for these performers? No. But is the bottom line is they were hiring everybody at one point and you never had any intention or any storyline or direction for these people. There are certain names out there I never ever root for anybody to lose their job. Number one. Number two, a lot of these performers, their dream at some point was to
hmm
perform for WWE. So they're getting finally to have their dream come through. But right now, there's a lot of names that I don't know that WWE would have ever treated the way they deserve to be treated. They might be better off going elsewhere. And think about it. I remember back in 2014 when they did the releases only twice a year, not weekly, but there was nowhere for these guys to go. Now the
Mhm.
possibilities are endless, and you wouldn't have the excitement of an all-out pay-per-view without. I mean, I know Brian didn't get released or Mox; they just waited their contracts out. But when Adam Cole showed up, and listen, it's a fun time for professional wrestlers to have options and see what they do, but it makes it hard for us to root for WWE or keep watching their product or be fans when you look at a multi-billion-dollar company just being so random about how they do things. Because you just released a bunch of people last week. Just let them all go at the same time. Don't keep putting. Imagine backstage, like working there. You don't know if you have a job tomorrow or not. Like, it's insane to
Mm.
me. Hit Row was just on TV and now they're gone. Like, it's
Yes.
crazy.
Oh, I know. Oh yeah, that's crazy. Like Keith Lee when they released him, I was literally at it was SmackDown. My buddy and I went to in Philly, and Keith
No.
Lee came
Yeah.
out in the pre-show or whatever and had a match, and I was like, yes, Bearcat, okay, Bearcat, Keith Lee, all right, let's go. I'm ready. And then like a week or two later, him, me, and him, go. I'm like, are you serious, Keith Lee? Yeah. Oh man, okay. Yeah, just
Yeah, there's some
that
names
broke
that you
that
go,
one broke my heart.
yeah, how
That
do
one
you
broke my
screw
heart
that
because I
up?
like Keith Lee.
How do you screw some of them up? Karrion Cross should have never been called
Oh.
up. Should have never been called up and lost that match. I love Jeff Hardy, but that was a big mistake. And like the
Hmm.
way that he was, I wanted Karrion Cross to be the one to beat Samoa Joe in NXT, and then you called him up, and then everything just went to crap. But I can see Karrion Cross doing so much better in other places. And Keith Lee definitely should be somebody that Tony Khan and everybody that has a wrestling federation should go after. I mean,
Hmm.
we'll see, but yeah, it's disheartening. Kid Lee hurt for a lot of people. For me, this last round this week, John Morrison will probably be the one that I felt in my heart that never was given a fair chance. You brought him back for nothing, and again, I brought him back up. You guys know I love Bad Bunny. He made Bad Bunny look like $1 million at WrestleMania, and for that, he will always have my heart and my support no matter where he goes.
That's right. Yeah, John Morrison, that one was terrible too. Because my pop, he's like, "Where's Johnny Drip Drip at?" You know what I
Johnny
mean? Is
Drip
Johnny
Drip.
Drip Drip wrestling tonight? So now I gotta tell my dad, like, Pop, man, Johnny Drip Drip, he ain't on there no more. Oh man.
Yeah, yeah, and it feels wrong, right? Because you waited for the Miz to go, and then you let him go. So your plans for him was always to just be with the Miz. You never had a plan for him as a singles wrestler. Uh,
Hmm.
but yeah, for me, Morrison on this last round, Morrison was probably the one that I was the saddest about.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, there's only one wrestler that nobody was really sad about leaving and stuff on that
Yeah,
list, but I
we all
won't
know
mention
who.
that name. Yeah, I won't mention his name or whatever and all that. You know what I mean? Just not getting into all that. But yeah, Survivor Series though, like the other match you were saying, Roman and Big E. Now on this one, I actually think, oh man, see, I'm going a little spoiler, but I think Big E could pull this one out. It's
You got
non-title.
jokes. You got jokes,
It's a
Ron.
non-title. I mean, it's non-title. I mean, Roman's tearing it up though. I'm not going to doubt that, but it's non-title. Big E. If he gets this win, that could cement him. Like bam, like he's the man and stuff. But I don't
Rob,
know. I mean,
what's your
Roman's on
Twitter
top of his game
handle?
right
What's your
now.
Twitter handle so I can tweet you when Roman wins and be like, ha.
Oh, it's Rob Base. Rob Base 82. You can
No,
do it. Oh no, I mean, but yeah, but Roman, he's the top of the world right now. But I think if
yeah.
somebody comes in, I think Big E, could sneak in and do that. But like,
We'll
oh,
see, but I don't see it
yeah,
happening.
it's gonna be a good match though. It's gonna
It
be
is.
one. Yeah, like you said, it's gonna be one of the ones that yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm kind of upset about the build because I always love the Survivor Series
I
matches, the five
know
on
the
five.
invasion
They
angles are fun. Yeah.
yes, and then it's like they didn't even really build it up. And then are the rosters all filled out now? Because to be fair, I didn't watch wrestling last night. I was out, betting on the ponies and all that, and eating pizza and stuff. So, like, are they filled out? Are both the rosters filled out yet?
What was that?
Are all the rosters filled out for the Survivor Series yet? Because last I seen, they were like the women on SmackDown
Yeah,
and the
they
men's on
added
Raw.
Tony Storm to the SmackDown team, and then
Okay.
Sheamus is going to be the one that is going to make it.
Oh,
Yeah, I love
okay.
Sheamus. I'm a big Sheamus fan, so I was excited to see him being added. I missed him. I know he broke his nose like twice because he's so
Mm.
freaking stiff. Sheamus is so underrated. I wish he would get more props than what he gets.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see him get another title run and whatever. You know what I mean? Just get up
Yeah,
in
I
there. So
think I think
been a
him
long
and
time.
Roman will probably end up feuding now that he's part of SmackDown.
Hmm. Now, Okay, now the Roman thing, I've heard a lot of stories. They're building up, maybe him and The Rock, the be the ultimate, the pinnacle of the bloodline storyline. Now, do you think that's where they're going?
It's very it's very tricky to tell just because The Rock has so much going on
Hmm.
in his personal life, and he's older and you don't know how he can go. A lot of times you hear wrestlers talk about, Triple H talks about it a lot. You can be in excellent shape but you're not in ring shape, right?
Yes.
And The Rock is not going to come back to do that kind of match unless he's ready. I don't see it being a WrestleMania 38 thing, maybe 39. I couldn't tell you. I selfishly don't want to get excited for it because I do want to see it and I don't want to fantasy book it, and then when it doesn't happen I get mad, because that's what we do as wrestling fans. We
Hmm.
make these stories in our brain and then when they don't do it we get mad at them. So would I like to see it? Yes. I think Roman retiring The Rock, officially retiring The Rock, will be such a huge moment, and it will make sense because there's so much about family. Why not allow a family member to do it? And look, I might, people might not like what I'm gonna say, but Roman should have been the one that retired Undertaker. Undertaker should have not came back after 33, and I feel like you took away Roman having a big, oh my god, look who I retired moment. So why not give him The Rock?
That's right. Yeah, I'm all for that. And like you said, yeah, that being in shape is totally different from being in ring
Yes.
shape and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, I do ref training and stuff. I referee and all. Little indie show, run CW around here, and yeah, my training partner, he goes out, lifts weights and all. I remember first day of training stuff, we're hitting ropes and all, and he's like, "Woo,
Mm-hmm.
yeah," like, yeah." But yeah, like, yeah, if I get in the ring, I can hit the ropes, da da da. But if I'm running down the road and all, I'm like, "Oh, hold on, oh,
Yeah,
my
no,
quad,
I
my
I
hamstring,
go to the
no."
gym. I go to the gym 2 hours every day, and I see these wrestlers and what they do, and I'm like, yeah, no, nah, I couldn't hang in there for 15 minutes, even though I know that I'm in shape, but it's not the
Mhm.
same.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was like, yeah, yeah, it'd be awesome to learn how to train to be a ref. You know what I mean? Yeah, I got one, two, three, and it's like, all right, yeah, you're gonna learn how to take bumps. You gotta learn how to run the road. I'm like, oh, all right, yeah, you gotta learn how to do matches, stuff, throw punches. I'm like, okay, we got this. All right, I'll do it. I'll do it. So
That's
yeah, so
funny.
next June, I might be able to put on a 5 minute match.
Hey, that's something.
Yeah, hey, there you go. Actually, we do have practice matches and stuff like that, I always do the Roman. I'm just, ooh, because I'm getting ready to, I haven't hit a Superman punch yet. That's a goal. That's a goal. Spear and a Superman punch. I need to do
Hey,
that
let's
though.
go.
That's right. That's right. So I do want to ask, like Kathy was saying earlier, you go into AEW and stuff, traveling around there. So what's it like having like, more than, 4 or 5 friends that, are into wrestling and go to travel and meet up in wrestling places and stuff and have a great time? Because, what I mean, a lot of my friends there, they'd look at me and like, wrestling? No, I'm not gonna watch that. It's like, okay, I have like 2 or 3, but so what's it like doing that?
I have made a lot of friends throughout, the years that I've been watching wrestling and using Twitter, and I'm very blessed to have friends from fans to media to people that are covering it to actual performers. You just make so many friends. A Full Gear, I so funny because I posted a picture that triggered some people, but I posted a picture of a bunch of us meeting up before Full Gear, and it was just fun. Nobody was on their phone. We were just on their phone. We were just sitting there just talking wrestling, just making sure that we saw each other, because once you get to the actual show, you say, oh yeah, we'll meet up, but you don't meet up because sometimes people want to get up at a match that you're trying to watch, and some other people want to watch the match that
Mm,
you want to get up for. So I always enjoy let's just have a drink, or have something to eat before we go in to make sure we see each other. It is amazing that the issue is that none of these friends are like local. I recently started making more local friends. I've been hanging out with like JD and Drusarian, Destiny. They all love professional wrestling, so it's become a lot more fun, because at first I will have to travel to be able to see my
mm,
wrestling friends. Now I found a few that I can just text and be like, hey, let's meet up somewhere. But it changes your experience because it gives you something to look forward to, and it's hilarious. I have my in real life friends and I have my wrestling friends, and one of these days maybe I'll combine both and see what happens, because it's gonna be crazy. But it changes your experience, because you used to go to a show and you would travel alone, right? Because like you said, Rob, I don't have any friends and I'm not gonna drag them to a show if they're not gonna enjoy it. But you're not traveling alone, because all you have to do is get there. And once you get there, you have 10, 15 people that that are going to hang out with you and enjoy the show.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, yeah. The only problem I have is like doing it is getting on a plane. You know what I mean? I've had like I need a Xanax prescription or something. You know what I mean? So I can sleep. You know, knock me out or whatever. But
Take
then
some
I'm
Nyquil.
afraid. You know. But then I'm afraid after I get up from that, I'm not going to remember everything that happened. You know what I mean? Just go to pictures and stuff. So you know how that stuff is like, oh man.
Oh, I love flying. I love traveling, so I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm one of the people. I'm like, yeah, look, I'm loading my car up. Let's roll. You know what I mean? Let's ride in the car. Pack my dogs up, and we going to take a cross country trip. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
I'm gonna go to
There's
Arizona
nothing
and see
wrong
the
with the road trip too, but the problem is that you just get there so tired. You know what I mean? Like I
yeah.
like the flying because it gives you time to kind of like settle in. But if you think about it, and I've always said this, depending on where you're going, sometimes the flying aspect of things also takes you 6, 7 hours because you gotta be at the
Yeah.
airport so much earlier. You gotta pack. You gotta head out. So a lot of times, if I'm taking my dog, for example, I always have an issue with the airlines because they want to charge me like what 150 to bring a 4 pound dog. I'm like, can you do it by
Woo!
size? Because I'm like, my dog
Oh,
takes no room. So there's times that I'm like, no, I'm driving because I refuse to give. They want to charge me more for my dog than for me, and I'm like, come on, bro.
yeah, that is messed up. You know what I mean? Yeah, you got the
Yeah.
small little dog and stuff. It's like I'm a grown human being. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
There
oh,
was
really?
when I was going. This was not wrestling, but I was going to Richmond, Virginia. That's where my sister lives, and I will never forget. My plane ticket was 89, and United wanted to charge me 150 for Roman, and I was like, bro, what? I took the Amtrak. Screw
Oh
United. I'm
yeah,
not giving them my money.
I would have too. Yeah, yeah. Those train rides, man, they're way cheaper and stuff. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Because I was looking at that because I'm like, yeah, I need to get to New York since Remy's there and stuff. And I'm like, oh, taking a train up there and back is way cheaper than
it is.
driving and stopping. And oh yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. So for going, traveling to the shows and meeting your friends there, going to watch shows and stuff, man. Do you have any funny travel stories that have happened to you along the way? I mean, you can change the names to protect the innocent if you need to. I mean, all that good stuff.
No, I mean, I think the weirdest thing for me, and I think after Wrestling Inc. it really got bigger. A lot of times I do get recognized because of my channel because I sometimes I don't comprehend that I'm doing this on a public basis and people might know who I am, but to me it's still just getting recognized and stuff for pictures. It's always something that I'll never get used to, and just hearing props like people agreeing with your decision, talking like with your opinions, talking wrestling, that to me is always like the weirdest things. But you do get, when you guys probably familiar with this, doing your own podcast, when you do get negativity and people don't agree with your opinion, and and like I'm like, I don't want any of these creeps that are sending me crazy DMs to be at one of these shows. So my goal right now is just to never go to one alone because I'm like, I don't know who these people are. you know um but no, I mean, at All Out I got to stay at the Talent Hotel, and there's a lot of really fun stories about like how these, I feel like the All Out people, like the All Elite Wrestling people, still are small enough to where they appreciate the fans and take the time. And it was one of the nights, this is a fun story, but it was one of the night, it was like 1:30 a.m. and I'm sorry, All Out is not in Chicago, it's in the outskirts of Chicago, so there's nothing to do, nothing to eat, there's no Uber Eats after 11 p.m. And I'm like trying to get something out of a vending machine, and there's one of the there's one of the AEW wrestlers trying to get into the gym and he forgot his key, so I swiped him in, right? And then as the gym was right next to the vending machine. So as I'm sitting there, I'm like, fuck, this vending machine sucks. Like, and he's like, he looks at me, he's like, I have leftover pizza if you want some. And I'm like, which was the sweetest thing, right? I'm like, no, thank you. I happened to run into this wrestler later on and he goes, hey, you're the pizza girl. And I'm like, I guess he will always know me as, I try to share my name, but I would always be the pizza girl with him. So that's a fun story. Just for swiping somebody into a gym, I almost got some nasty dip dish pizza for free.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. I mean, hey. As long as it could have been, just couch pizza or whatever. I mean, just left out overnight. Hey.
It's probably better than deep dish, but I'm a New Yorker, okay?
Oh
I
yeah,
can
yeah.
have the
I'm
deep
not
dish
big on.
against New York pizza argument all day.
I'm with you on that. I'm not big on deep dish. You know what I mean? It's like, man, what are you gonna eat at 1:30 in the morning when you're drunk and you pass out? You know what I
It's a
mean? Do
casserole.
you want
Like
to?
that stuff is too heavy
Yeah.
for your stomach at 1 a.m. I'm like, why you trying to kill me?
I know, especially if you're drunk and you pass out in the Chicago style pizza, then you're going to drown.
Yeah.
If you pass out in your New York style, you're good to go. You just wake up like, oh, peel off my face, I'm gonna finish it. Hey.
Yes.
Now my favorite though is beach pizza because I mean I live like right by the beach. My family has a beach house and stuff. Beach pizza. I don't know what it is. I think it's just that on the boardwalk mixed with the the salt air and all. Just oh man, I just love it. I don't know what it
Okay.
is.
I respect that.
Oh yeah, but yeah, New York pizza, I love it. Yeah, I can just fold it up and just walk around. Just yeah, can't do
Yeah.
that with Chicago style, man. It's like a lasagna. Yeah, it's like
You have to sit down and get like
yeah,
utensils. New York pizza, you grab it and walk as you're eating it. Come on.
and they put the sauce on top of the cold cheese. Like
No.
who does that? You know what I mean? It's sauce is cold and naked on there. Just oh man, don't do that. Like come on, man. In
Agreed.
my Ed Lover voice, come on, son. But yeah, I do want to say before I pass it on back to Remy, I know you're a busy woman. You have a bunch of stuff to do today. I don't want to keep you. I want to say thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, coming
Thank
on
you.
chat with us. I had a blast. I wish you nothing but the positive things from here on out. I wish your channel gets bigger. You know what I mean? You get millions and millions of subscribers. All the successful things happen to you in life and all that good stuff.
Thank you so much.
Isa, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here. Like I said, we know, like Rob said, we know you're a busy woman and you got things to do and whatnot, people to see, especially tonight.
Yeah,
You
I
got
gotta start getting ready because I
the
take too long to get ready. So
yeah, you got the wrestling panel. So it'll be on. So for those of you that are in New York that are wondering, it's what is it called, a Wrestle Talk panel? And I know it's also
Jobber Talk. It's
celebrating.
the Jobber Talk panel.
Yeah, right. So we got the Jobber Talk panel tonight, and of course Jobber Tears. Shout out to Sir Wilkins, Mr. Black, Izzy, and Janelle from HR. They're gonna be there. You're gonna be there. Those wrestling girls, Queen PR and Krista B, are gonna be there. Shout out to them as well too. Krista, we haven't forgotten about you. We still want to get you on the show, so don't think you're off the hook yet. But they'll be there as well. And also, I think this referee Nick Shine is going to be there as well.
Yes.
So it's going to be at Legends, which is on 7 West 33rd Street in the city. It's not too far from the train station. I think it's the F train. So definitely come out, check it out. It's going to be it starts at 8:30 p.m. So if you're in New York and you want to shoot the breeze about wrestling with fellow wrestling fans, definitely come by. It's a really cool atmosphere. I've been there twice so far, so yeah, it'll be an exciting time. So with that being said, it's about time for us to shut down this show. Is that Roman? Hey,
Yes.
Roman. Roman made his debut on Ringside Society.
Hmm.
So before we shut down the show, where can fans find you on social media when they want to talk wrestling, check out your reaction videos or all your other videos on YouTube? And where can pretty much. I was gonna ask where bookers and promoters find you, but you're not a manager. Although honestly, I think you'd make a great manager in professional wrestling. You
I
have the
wouldn't mind.
voice and everything,
I would like
but
that.
yeah. But yeah, where can we find you on social media?
NYC Demon Diva with a 1 on Twitter instead of the I. You can see it right here on the screen, right here. On everywhere else, it's just normal NYC Demon Diva on YouTube and Instagram. And also, you can find me on Wrestling Inc. Over there, I do their podcast after NXT and right after SmackDown and Rampage.
Awesome. See, I'll definitely go ahead and follow this woman. She's doing great things, and trust me, it's always great to find somebody new and find somebody that has a lot of determination. Well, not just determination, but motivation and a lot of gusto for professional wrestling as well. I always enjoy finding those people. It actually excites me. It excites us as well because 15 minutes of fandom is something that we also take pride in. It's never going away. It's what makes us us. So, and I mean, come on, like two thirds of my crew has actually been on 15 minutes of fandom. You got Rob Bass and you got Kathy Knight. So yeah, why not just keep it around? What's up, Chef Dad? What's up, Chef Dad? How's it going? Chef Dad just joined us. But yeah, with that being said, it's about time for us to shut this down. But before we do, once again, Kathy Knight, happy birthday. May you live to see many more in great health. and wealth, even though you do try to lower our wealth with all your crazy adventures. But yeah, thank you, that for all you've done. And where can fans find you on social media when they want to talk wrestling? And also, when they want, where can they find you to wish you happy birthday?
So let's see. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and Discord, all at BLUE70517. And just thank you for thanks for Rob for dressing up today, and thanks for having this podcast. And Remy said, "Hey, we want to do a birthday podcast for you. Who you want to pick?" And I was like, "Well, Issa was supposed to be on our show a couple of months ago, and I love her to pieces. So I was like, hey, let's bring her on the show." So thank you for coming on, and thank you for all the birthday wishes. I actually had a milestone birthday. I turned 40. So thanks for making this old fart feel good. I feel special. So I got a ton of birthday shout outs yesterday, and it's good to see that people are still good in this world. Like Twitter's so negative, and social media, we could get lost in all that mess and negativity. But there are still some good hearts out there, and had a lot of them tell me happy birthday yesterday. So thank you very much for that.
Cool. Yeah, there's still a lot of good people out there, and you just gotta, I always say, remember the compliments you receive, forget the insults. That's actually from a spoken word track called "Everybody's Free to Wear Sunscreen" by it was composed by Baz Luhrmann, and I think the person that did the spoken word part is a guy named by name of Lee Perry. But I highly recommend you check it out. It's a lot. There's a lot of positivity in it. Probably one of the most positive tracks I've ever heard in my whole lifetime. It came out in 1998, 1999, but I highly recommend it. A lot of great positivity in one track, and it's some of the stuff that are from that track I actually go by in life. So I definitely recommend it. Rob Bass, the Sean Spence to my Burton Gus, to the Bubba Ray to my Devon, the Charlie Haas to my Shelton Benjamin, and of course, now that you're dressed up, the Agent K to my Agent J. Where can fans find you on social media when they want to talk wrestling, and where can or when they want to buy Rob Bass merchandise, and where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
All right, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch, Rob_Base82, and then Facebook, YouTube, Rob Base.
Great. And if you want to find me on social media, not that I have anything cool to say, but who knows, maybe you'll get lucky. You can find me on Twitter at the Remy Blue. You can also find me on Facebook under the alias Remy Blue. It's a picture of me at WrestleMania 28, the only WrestleMania I've been to so far. And our podcast is also on social media. We're on Twitter and Instagram under at Ringside Society. We're on Twitch under at Ringside Society 2019. We're on Spotify now. That's where you can find our season 1 and season 2 episodes and some of season 3. We are also on Blog Talk. We're still on Blog Talk. We haven't left them yet, but we're still on there. You can listen to all our episodes on there as well too, from season 1 and season 2 and season 3. And we're also we're on Facebook as well. We have a Facebook group. So just go ahead and check us out there. And we're also on YouTube, which is one of the platforms that we stream on as well. So if you go to YouTube and you type in Ringside Society and you see that sweet OMG dark blue and light blue yin yang sign with the blue flames around it, just go and just know that that's us. So go ahead and subscribe to all our videos. Don't personalize it. Just subscribe to all, because we got a lot of cool interviews coming up. And we also have a lot of great, and also check out our past interviews, like this one, like our one with Paige's mom, Saria Knight. That was a pretty cool one. If you get offended, you might not want to check. You just know it's like I call it the Attitude Era episode. So yeah, and we also have many other great episodes as well. So definitely check us out. And we also have a Teespring store where we sell official Ringside Society merch. We have shirts, we have tank tops, we have hoodies for the hoodie season we're in right now. And we also have coffee mugs for your favorite warm beverage. So definitely go ahead and check us out. Get some Ringside Society merch. All proceeds from those sales go back into keeping this show afloat. It does not go back into our pockets. You have my word on that. I'm still eating hamburger helper helper. Rob's still eating Kool-Aid sandwiches. And Kathy, well, today's her birthday, so she's having birthday. Well, yesterday was her birthday, but she's still having birthday cake. But yeah, so it's definitely not going into our pockets. But with that being said, we just want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight. Not tonight, today live. We really and truly appreciate it. To those of y'all that are going to listen to us later on, thank you very much in advance. And to those of y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we'd go away, well, like myself at the Golden Corral, and Rob Bass at the Taco Festival, and Kathy at Cafe Du Monde, we ain't going nowhere for a while.
They hate us because they ain't us.
And we ain't stopping. So with that being said, we just want to let everybody know that we here at Ringside Society are very well aware that everybody and their grandparents and their parents have a podcast. But we're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. Hey, yo, Rob Bass, Kathy Knight, one time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, and one time for the New York City Demon Diva, the Diva Incarnate Isa, and also for Kathy's 40th birthday. I shouldn't put your age out there. Ah, jeez. Don't get old. You forget things. Kathy's 26th birthday. What type of podcast are we?
All right. 3, 2, 1.
We're
the Wrestling Fans Podcast.
That's right. We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. And we will be back tomorrow with another great episode. As a matter of fact, tomorrow is our Survivor Series 2021 predictions panel. We will be joined, and it's actually going to be our first ever international predictions panel, because we'll be having Alex Jean, who's been in our comments, who's been watching the whole time. We're going to be having Alex Jean from France and Elisa from Belgium on our show, giving their predictions as well. So you don't want to miss that. But until then, we're still going through a pandemic. So until it's over, stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. We out. Peace.
See y'all. Good night. Stay classy, Delaware.
Bye.